Hi everyone, my name is Madison Zobrist, and today we will be talking about Pakistan and United States relations. The first question that I'll ask as my topic for today is, will the relationship with the United States be based on long-term values and interests or continue to be based on strategic opportunism? Another question that's a little bit shorter that you can use is, how will past values affect government and military moves in the coming future? First, we have to go back in time and give you a small timeline of all of the values that have been established. First, in August of 1947, Pakistan parted ways with British rule and gained independence. Within just 2 months, the United States established relations, making it one of the first nations to establish a relationship with the country of Pakistan in October of 1947. Several years after establishing the relationship, Pakistan signed the Mutual Defense Assistance Agreement, which was in May of 1954. In this agreement, Pakistan decided to send soldiers to the United States to train. The U.S. also decided to open up a Military Assistance Advisory Group, or MAAG, in the Pakistan city of Rawalpindi. Through the 1960s, the relations stayed on the positive side for the most part. At one point, West Pakistan was in need of more financial and military assistance, which caused a lot of unrest and distrust coming from East Pakistan. During the decade of the 60s, the United States was also granted permission from Pakistan President Mohammad Ayub Khan to conduct spy missions from Pakistan territory to the Soviet Union. In 1965, Pakistan was hit with the Indo-Pakistani War. Most hostility ceased after a United Nations mandated ceasefire occurred. The war had led the United States to place both military and economic embargoes on Pakistan. The economy suffered a collapse as a result. For relations through the 70s and 80s, the United States supported Pakistan through the Cold War. Pakistan helped President Nixon during his first visit to the People's Republic of China. The U.S. provided Pakistan with military aid during war in 1971. The U.S. granted Pakistan with billions of economic and military aid. They became the second largest receiver of U.S. funds, and the relationship remained positive and helpful for years. Things changed for the U.S. and Pakistan in the 1990s. Pakistan seemed to lose importance in regards to the U.S. in Soviet war. It continued to get worse when the U.S. Ambassador Platt warned Pakistan of its place on their terrorist list in 1992. In 2001, the U.S. was brutally attacked, and Pakistan became one of our most important allies. Pakistan tried to convince the Taliban and al-Qaeda to hand over Osama bin Laden, although Pakistan claimed to have been threatened by the U.S. to support them. Considering what we've learned today through this timeline, the relationship between the U.S. and Pakistan has clearly been a roller coaster ride. Overall, we've established many values that could be used in the future. The future for Pakistan, considering the fact that the two countries have supported each other for the most part over several decades, we still can't forget the fact that there hasn't always been a good relationship due to the fact that both countries will almost always work in favor of themselves, just like all other nations around the world. Many long-term values have been established between these two nations, but times are always changing. They've established values, and the United States is aware that Pakistan is a powerful country. They have a very professional army and are strategic move makers military-wise. The future for the relationship will really just depend on leadership in both nations and whether or not they can cooperate with one another when directing military action. Why should I care about this? Why should any of us care about this? We should all be aware of and care for the ever-changing relationship between the United States and Pakistan. It affects all citizens of these two nations. I hope the relationship can always remain warm for the future. If we did go to war with Pakistan, I believe we would be stuck there for years, as we have with Afghanistan. We'd spend trillions of dollars fighting, and it may be too difficult to recoup in our economy. I really do wish that relationship between the United States and Pakistan will stay on the warm and positive side for decades and centuries to come, although, is that realistic? Honestly, probably not. It really depends on the leaders of the two countries and how they decide to cooperate with one another, and what different military calls they decide to make in the coming future. Thank you for watching.